Hello, welcome back again for our second Tech Talk Live of today. If you guys don't recognize the lovely ladies in the next window next to me, this is Holly and Mel from Nail On. Hello, good morning or afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I have been anticipating this Tech Talk for so long with Holly, and you guys know if you've done it all in the nail industry that Holly and Mel are like my soul sisters. We love just sharing what I call the nerdy nail knowledge, but it's really just sharing our life experience in this industry and trying to help techs be able to go to the next level. And we do this freely, and we do this because we really do care. We're passionate about what we do. And we follow the footsteps of many leaders before us and hope that along the way we get to, kind of be a leader for somebody in their journey of being a nail tech. So we get the 2-for-1 right now. And so I feel even extra special to have Mel joining us. And so I want to go back and talk about both of you and how you got started in the nail industry. And then I have so many questions, you have no idea. And so, Holly, welcome. We'll start with you. What inspired you to want to become a nail tech and to get into this industry?
What's really funny is I kind of came into the industry by accident. Sitting around for Christmas at my grandma's, and my cousin owns a salon, and she was complaining to my grandma that none of her friends were willing to go to school and learn how to do nails and come work for her in the salon and do nails. And I'm like, how hard is it to polish nails all day? Little did I know it was a little more complicated than that. And that's why I went to nail school and discovered that there was a lot more to it than polishing nails all day. And actually, by accident, found my path, found my people.
Yeah. Isn't that so true that I was kind of the same way. I was the odd duckling in my family that they all did hair and I didn't want to do hair, but it was almost that challenge of like, well, you can't just be a nail tech in this industry. You have to do it all. And it literally that little bit of challenge is what made me go, like, I'm going to prove you wrong. But really, I set out to be an EMT, but I found out that what I loved was this. And so after all these years, this is what I do. Isn't that funny that sometimes that challenge is,
Yeah.
yeah, what gets us. So, Mel, let's hear your story.
Um, I had, prior to my 30th birthday, I had never gotten a pedicure. I'd never even gotten a basic manicure. I'd always just kind of played with them at home and decided for my 30th I was going to get a full set of enhancements. That's been 21 years. I've never gone back. I watched my nail tech for probably 2 years, and I kept watching her going, I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just came home from work one day, and like I'd mentioned this morning, I spent 10 years working in the trucking industry, hiring and training truck drivers in compliance. Came home and told my husband I do something completely different, and I'm going to school for nails. Like, what? Okay.
I can almost picture his face.
And when you talk about finding your tribe of people, when I worked in the trucking industry, my hair was down to here. Okay. It was spiral curled, late 90s in there.
Right.
And when I went to school, it chopped up to here. The day I started in the salon, it like came up to here. I have been just about every shade of red and purple you can think of since then. First, my husband used to be like, "This is my wife. She works in a salon." Explain to people what I do, why I look like I do. It, it took him a little bit of adjusting. I just told him, I said, well, I just found what I want to be when I grow up. And like I said, we found our people. I
Oh,
found
yeah.
one evening we were going to the grocery store and he comments on how pretty the sunset is. And I catch myself staring out the window of the car going, if I use this color and this color, I can. And I kind of started laughing at myself. He looks at me and goes, you okay over there? I just had a moment that it really dawned on me. I am doing what I'm meant to be doing because Holly says the same thing. We see the world with male eyes. I see the world through a picture of possible nail designs.
Yes, over and over. Every shirt that we see, every design, every color, every
Yes.
commercial on TV. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Seat covers,
Yes.
wrapping paper.
Oh, I love it. So Jessica Briarmoon's on here and she goes, "Hey, double dose of ladies today." And yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Christy's on here, BFFs. So yeah. And so, Holly, I've gotten to meet you in person. We just did nail camp, and both you and I were keynote speakers. And I can tell you, I have followed you, or as they say, stalked you. My husband's a police officer, so he believes that when you follow somebody obsessively, it's really called stalking. And I'm like, okay, fine, then I'm a stalker for many people. But Holly and Mel, you are definitely on the top of my stalking list.
I would call it the passionate one-sided friendship.
Yeah, yeah. I tend to call it research.
There you
but
go. I'm big on
And so, how did it become where you two met, and when did you guys decided to kind of bring this all together and go to the next level?
Boy, that's a multi-layered question.
It is a multi-layered question.
I know. I don't.
I'll take the first part.
There you go.
I became a licensed nail professional in 2001, in the fall, and I think it was November. I went back and looked. I was looking at my certificates the other day. November of 2001, I went to my first C&D master's class, and she was there. And as she put it one day, exactly love at first sight, but we kept running into each other at classes and at shows. And after a couple of years, we had to exchange emails because there weren't really cell phones yet.
Mhm.
We couldn't text each other. But after a couple of years, there was a 3-day class in Omaha. We decided to attend together, and that's what that took. We finally, actually, I remember the first night we were there, had to decide to stop talking because we needed to get up early the next morning. Right. And yeah, that's all she wrote. Yeah, that was all she wrote. We inspired each other.
Yeah. And the Nail On broadcasts were essentially almost an extension of the blog. Mel had written some guest blogs for me, and I got such a positive response from my readers. They really appreciated her voice and her different point of view from mine. We are so similar in a lot of ways and yet so different in a lot of ways that she offers a different perspective and a different point of view.
Mhm.
Even though we agree, we still bring a different point of education to the table. And so Nail On was an extension of the Finger blog that basically was a way for us to contribute to the industry through Nails Magazine and just give nail tech the opportunity to have unbiased education. And so our way of bringing education to the community that is not sponsored by anyone, not influenced by anyone. So it's not restricted to brand, it's not restricted by anything, it's not affiliated with anything. And so it's pure nail. It's literally education for the sake of education and for the love of the industry.
Like we say, low tech and no budget. We do this just for the...
Exactly. We're the Wayne and Garth of the...
Yes. Did you know that? Did you see the episode where we talked about how we got our name? How that kind of came about?
No, or if I did, I've forgotten, because I think I've seen every one of them.
So she originally asked me to commit. It was like January of 2018. She asked me to commit to a year's worth of Facebook Live broadcasts, and my first reaction was no.
Just like that, actually.
I thought, okay, it's BFF. I'll give you 6 months. Well, we didn't get to our first broadcast until March of that year. And after we did the second one, I'm like, well, this is kind of fun. And I told her, I said, it just dawned, it was 2 days or so after our second broadcast. I said, you know, it just dawned on me. We're like the Wayne world of the nail world. Wayne had a public access TV show out of his basement.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I'm learn to commit to doing the next broadcast if we can end it with nail on instead of part. It's stuck.
I love it. I love it so much. Oh my gosh, we're kind of aging ourselves a little bit when we start talking about movies like that. But
Right?
you know what? Our experience in this industry, we've had a lot of years and we've seen a lot of trends and we've seen a lot of things last and not last. What is one thing that you cannot believe is still a trend in the industry?
I'm really surprised that transfer foil just makes its way in and out and in and out. It's so simple and so versatile, and it's just the coolest little gizmo. It's so inexpensive, and yet it continues to thrill and impress our clients as if it is the newest, coolest thing that they have never ever seen. It's just
Oh my gosh.
fantastic.
I love it. So when I don't, so because my mom and everybody was in the beauty industry for years, we knew to try to figure out our cost, and which stemmed to like keeping profits in your pockets and stuff like that. So anytime we bought something, we bought the year that we bought it and then what we paid for it, and then we would try to mark how many uses. I'm not joking when I say that my first foils that I purchased was in 1994 from Trans Design, and I paid $2.30 for like 12 foils in there, and it came with the foil primer, which I still have, and it still works, and I swear to you, all it is Elmer's glue, and
I,
the
I
top
have
coat for it.
yes.
And do you know I still use them? I have new foils. I have, still updated. But it is so funny to look back and know that some of these things I held on to, and it was because it didn't expire. Yeah, so it wasn't, I didn't need to get rid of it.
Right.
And yet you're right. That is one thing that has continuously come back, and I love it. And it's fun. And the way the technology has changed to have like stickets and some of the other things allows us to be able to use these same things that we had years ago in such a easier manner that's more lasting as well. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. So Jessica says foils her favorite is as well. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments on here. I can't really keep up just yet. So I apologize if we skip past you.
Yes. And
But
hi.
And so, with this being said, obviously, you guys, you go live a lot. And so, a lot of people might not have questions for you. I'm not sure. But if you guys do have questions for Holly and Mel, this is your time. Let's kind of put them on the spot and interview them since they're always sharing with us. So, this is going to be a little fun segment. So, Mel, I would like for you to share something about Holly that you just don't, that you think the world needs to know, that you just don't think that she brags enough on herself.
Well, okay, bragging enough on herself, she would not talk about how um, intelligent she is. She talks about how she likes to spread education, but she wouldn't talk to just how smart she is. What she wouldn't tell everybody probably knows that she's like a closet goth, or not goth, metalhead, which I'd like to take some credit for taking to her first Metallica concert, where she mosh pit she saw was actually a fight. And I had to explain to her, oh, that's okay if they do that. Um, but actually, not too long ago, we were in her Jeep, and her playlist was going, and I'm like, wait, do I hear Lady Gaga? She's like, yes. So one song for her guilty pleasure of Lady Gaga. I'm like, all right, I'll give you that. I got one too.
Oh, well, now you're going to have to share what's your one.
Well, my one, if you know me very well, I relate a lot of things back to the television show Supernatural, and I went to a Supernatural convention a couple of years ago, and one of the actresses sang "Million Reasons." I actually didn't even know it was a Lady Gaga song, but now that I know she sings, it's just that's my favorite.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You know what? Sometimes there's just those songs that can just get us out of our funk. It can just there's just something about it. And so it's funny that you guys say that. Mine's not a Lady Gaga, but I actually just named a workshop after this song just because I had to. And it's called All About the Toes, All About the Toes. But it's really that song by that Megan Mahali. I'll say her name wrong, but it's all about the bass. And she's in there just shaking it. And there's something, as soon as I can hear the beat of that, I am like in this different groove. And I love what music can do to us and inspire us and all of that.
That's cool.
So, oh, thanks for sharing that. So, Holly, let's flip this around on Mel. So, what's something about Mel that you just don't think she brags enough about?
So what Mel will not tell you is she's got mad skills. Mad skills. And she can do things with liquid and powder and teaching liquid and powder that she does not ever give herself nearly enough credit for. This woman has ski jump nails and she can do stilettos on them, on herself, and make them look good. Really good. If she was not an educator, I would kick her butt all the way into NTNA. She
Oh, yeah.
is madly talented. And it's a talent that is not really shining in Des Moines, Iowa like it should be. And so she keeps her little light under a bush, and her salon owner lets her hide it under a bush because she doesn't want anyone to know how shiny it is. So
Oh.
one of those things, like most nail professionals, and so she's mad skills.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? Sometimes we don't get the chance to use that. I can tell you all of my clients I mean, some of them have a longer nail. I don't have one stiletto, one almond. They're all on the shorter, more natural side. And so some of the things that I practice and that I want to do and to hit my goals, I don't have the client for it. I have to pull in models or I have to pull in one of my little fake, practice hands or something to be able to pull out the inner artist of where I really want to be. But then I'm thankful that not every single one of my clients is those long stiletto clients because then I would probably have more anxiety than not.
Brandy gave you a Jensen shout out. You should show her your Jensen.
So
Oh, good girl, Brandy. I'm a
we're
girl.
going to peer pressure and bully you on that.
I don't know how to do it. How do we show?
I would say just lean him over.
I have a Jared and Jensen standee cutouts.
Yes.
In my nails room.
You do.
Yeah, when she says she's a supernatural fan, she means like uber fan. Like Jensen is lay across our laps right now.
I love it.
Just for you.
That reminds me. I had a client one time. She had never been married. She'd been single her whole life, and everybody knew she loved Alan Jackson, and she got a cutout of him somehow, and her Christmas cards were her and Alan Jackson together.
I love it.
So fun.
For my 50th birthday last year, my children gave me a surprise party. And they said it was really easy to name because it was Supernatural, Game of Thrones, and Grumpy Cat.
Yep.
They even had somebody to bring the car. If you watch Supernatural, you know what I mean when I say baby. They brought a replica of baby, and I got to drive it.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And
oh my God.
7 Chevy Impala, for those of you that don't watch the show.
Yeah. And the look on her face when she came out and saw the car, priceless. And she didn't even pause. She like ran and dove into the car. Perfect.
Oh my goodness, so much fun. Oh, let's see. So I apologize once again, there's many comments on here, so I'm just gonna try to see if I can find any questions along the way.
Hey, Jessica.
Brandy's like, he is just so sexy. OMG. Amanda loves it. Anyways, thank you guys for joining on Tech Talk Live. If you have any questions for Holly and Mel, this is the time. Let's kind of, get it out there and get to know them a little bit more. So Holly, you drive quite a ways to be able to go do these shows with Mel. And so obviously they're scheduled out. And how, so this is kind of a two-part question. So obviously, how do I want to say this? You guys have created this room. And so, Mel, you kind of told me behind the scenes that this room has become like you're just a little escape room, and it's a combination of both of you together. So how did the room get set up, like to where you can say, "I need this," and then Mel, you drive this way to go, what, an hour and a half or something?
It's an hour and a half drive for me. The room is Mel's personal private nail studio in her home. And she's
Okay.
enough to let us use it as the location for the nail on broadcasts.
Yeah. And how many years have you guys been doing this?
It actually just started last year.
Year and
We
a half.
just celebrated our 1 year anniversary in March. So it's about a year and a half now.
I love it. Because I know when I was first doing the tech talks, it was about the same time that you guys were starting. I think I had done a few, and then I saw you guys doing it. I thought, wow, we're kind of on the same thing, but I'm bringing on, special guests. You guys are sharing knowledge. And then we started Coffee Talk, where we did a roundtable, but it was the same feeding of getting people's different perspectives on one topic, and being able to do live Q&A. And so I love the networking that we can all pull together and share that, what we call nerdy nail knowledge. And so what has been some of the questions that continuously come up that you're like, oh my gosh, we're answering this question again? Because I can tell you what mine is.
I think pricing
That's
is
exactly what I was just going to say. Pricing is usually the biggest question is how should I price this? And it's one of the hard. It's an easy question to answer, but it's a really hard to implement.
Yes.
Because like we don't ever give ourselves enough credit and for whatever people see in us. So therefore a lot of it we're like, well, I'm not worth that.
Mm-hmm.
All your nail sisters, other nail professionals, and your clients would be like, yeah, you are. So
pricing is a big one. Charging for nailer is another one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
probably difference in opinion on verbiage. Definitely anatomy verbiage.
Yeah, that one does come up a lot, huh? It's interesting. I put a post up, but I will never do it like I did ever again. A lesson learned. So I put a post up one time that said, if I could be your fairy godmother and I could, help you master or specialize in one thing in the nail industry, what would it be? And I thought, here's what my thinking was, is that they would say pink and whites with acrylic. Then I could go to an educator that I knew had a great video of pink and white and acrylic and share that. Or if I had it in one of my videos, then I could share that. But here's what happened. I posted it in a whole bunch of groups. Now you guys know that people respond sometimes, and sometimes you never get a comment. But this particular one, I got so many comments I couldn't keep up on them, and then I was apologizing. But the number one thing, pricing always is up there. The number one thing was, how do I get confidence? And I could not answer it. And so I did a soul searching for months on how do you get the confidence to not only charge what you're worth, how do you get the confidence to put yourself out there to say you need to come to me versus somebody else? So what advice do you girls have to help somebody where their question is how do I get that confidence to go live? How do I get the confidence to build the clientele to charge what I'm worth?
You just do it.
I gonna say I'm not necessarily the best person to answer that, considering she's had to drag kicking and screaming into social media all this time. But it was to as far as putting yourself out there on social media, just do it.
Yeah.
And I guess for clients, my salon attracts a lot of the clients, but I'm the one that keeps them. Mm-hmm. So I suppose just being myself, being real, and the education talk, educating the client. If you talk about what you know, it's going to show passion and confidence. So
confidence comes from inside of yourself. So know your stuff. If you know and understand your product, you know, read Doug Schoon's books. Follow Doug Schoon's brain on Facebook. He has free education all over his Facebook page, and it's science based. It's scientific information. It's not
Yeah.
branded. It's science. So know your nail anatomy. Know your product chemistry. Regardless of the manufacturer that you choose to use, understand the chemistry of what you're using. Then practice. Practice with so that you understand why your product does what it does, how it does what it does, when it does. If you live in a, a section of the world that has 4 seasons, your product probably changes the way it behaves 4 times a year. So you need to understand why it's doing what it's doing 4 times a year. If your air and your heat change the temperature of the salon 6 times of the year, your product is going to perform differently due to changes. Understand how and why. Have a relationship with the manufacturer. Know what their helpline, what help email is, and understand how to utilize it. Use a professional product that backs you up. If you're ordering products off of Amazon or eBay or getting them directly from some unknown place that doesn't back you up with education or support line of some sort, you can't be complaining about how the shows aren't supporting you, products aren't supporting you, and manufacturers aren't supporting you because you're not supporting anyone in return.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cyclical process to have confidence. You have to build the confidence in yourself with knowledge, practice, and the pursuit of education.
And as in addition, have the confidence to also say, I don't know when you don't know something.
Yes.
Don't give opinions. Say, I know this, but I will find out.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, thank you guys for answering that. I know it's a tough one, but that's also I knew you guys could handle it as well. You know, when I was doing the research on it, I of course ended up with like Tony Robbins and some of these big motivational speakers. And you know, it's interesting that hearing the main top speakers in our world that share their stories, even if you go all the way back to Gandhi or whatever, they've all been at their lowest and they've all had to rebuild themselves back up and surround themselves with like-minded people, education, and not the fear of failure. That all of them have said, if I would not have just tried this and failed, I would not have picked myself back up and learned the proper way of doing it. And so I encourage you that feel like you don't have the confidence to get a mentor that is educated, that is willing to help, which I can tell you all three of us on this on the screen here would definitely be, you know, a good starting point with that and steering you into who we think would be the best educator for you or the best classes or where to get the education. And it's so important to do that because if you can't slowly build that confidence up, it's not overnight, but if you can't slowly do that, you have to kind of relook at yourself in the mirror and am I doing really what I want to be doing in life? Am I passionate about what I'm doing? Am I going to love this for the long haul? Because if not, sometimes you have to rethink, is this really the right place for me? Because with that, it's interesting that a lot of people have said, I won't go live, Amy, because I don't like the comments. And I'm like, what comments? Like, you know, answering the questions or what? They're like, no, people are so negative. And I thought, I've never, knock on wood, I don't want it to start now. I've never ran into that. I've never had somebody say or negate something. And it's just because I'm talking from my heart. I'm talking with my own experience. It's my journey. It's my nerdy nail knowledge, and I'm sharing that. But I've never had anybody argue that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the worst thing that, and it's not the the worst thing. I'm 46 years old, and people that they'll offer me wrinkle cream or teeth whitening serum, or they're like, "Oh, I love that you're embracing your gray." And I thought, no, I just got my hair colored. It's not supposed to look gray. And so it's not. I've never. People are afraid to put themselves out there because they're afraid of what other people are going to say. So there's a part of you that when you're being real and you're being honest and you're just being you and you're sharing that kind part of you, that doesn't happen. I've not had that happen, and I don't want it to happen. And if it does, I have enough confidence now to say, you know what, I appreciate and value your opinion. And then you move on. That's it. And so, it is hard to be vulnerable, to put ourselves out there like this and not know how people are going to take it. Are they going to agree? Are they going to disagree? And I think with what you two have brought to the table of seeing both sides, you don't always have to agree. What you need to do, though, is just be passionate about what you're doing.
We actually did a broadcast last November. We thought election month was a good time to do it, where we kind of did a mock debate. We put on dress shirts and we wore ties so we look all fancy. And it's kind of been a running joke between the two of us for a number of years now on doing a French nail. Do you go bright white or soft white? And that was kind of how we started off our debate. And we
Bright white.
soft white. But we talked both sides, and not necessarily right or wrong. It was, I'm going to present my facts. She's going to present her facts, and we discussed the differences between liquid and powders versus hard gels. Being an employee versus being a booth renter. I know I'm forgetting one, but the what we actually ended it off with was discussing the pros. Are you pro or con pumpkin spice? But that's what's great about, like she said, what's great about us is we think very much alike, but sometimes we approach a problem two very different ways. There's been I've called her and I said, okay, I have a challenge I'm trying to work through, and I want your opinion, and whatever your first 5 thoughts are, set that aside, because I guarantee I've already tried that. What's after that? And then we're like, okay, but we evaluate each other's opinions and appreciate each other's differences. Yes. And that's, and not just us, I mean everybody. We appreciate your opinion as long as you're going to be giving it in a respectful way.
Yes. And that's I think that people forget to do in general, and something that we try to reinforce in the industry. Some of my dearest friends in the industry are educators for other companies, and we can choose to love completely different products, but still have a great respect and adoration for each other. And so you don't have to do the same service with the same product to greatly respect each other and even respect each other's product. It's okay to have different opinions and do different things. And so your confidence in going live or your confidence in doing a service has to come from within yourself, because it shouldn't be shaken by outside forces. So when someone with a differing opinion and they say, oh, well, that hair sticking out of your ear is weird.
Yeah.
That's their opinion. It's not a fact. And it's difficult to learn to see things that way, especially in today's day and age when everyone wants to take an opinion as a personal assault. Everything that someone types on the computer is not a personal assault against you. It's their opinion. And one of my favorite things when it comes to trying and not giving up is the meme of a baby learning how to walk. Can you imagine how helpless we would be as a society if babies quit trying to learn how to walk as quickly as we quit trying to learn how to do things as adults?
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah.
one of my things I say to my coworkers and clients on a regular basis, if you don't try anything new, you're not going to learn anything new.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly that. I have always, my whole life, it's that she believed she could, so she did. I mean, seriously, I have a bracelet I wear every single day. I have necklaces. I have this on cups and everything. And it's exactly that. Nobody else is going to believe in me more than what I can try to believe in myself. Once I believe in myself, then they'll believe in me. But if I don't believe in myself, then why are they going to support that? And so it's, it's trying all the time. And so I have to believe that I can do it, and then I can do it. And it's amazing that mindset. It's that mindset is so huge and where we can pull our inspiration from. But with all of that, you girls wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't learn how to balance family and health and life and together time and finding that time. How do you do that? I mean, because you both, I know Mel or Holly travels a lot. I don't know if Mel, do you travel as much as Holly does? And how do you balance everything?
I don't travel as much as she does, which she continually gives me a hard time about.
That's how she balances it. She stays home.
I I have grandbabies that are. I would rather be with them for right now.
They're too cute for traveling.
Yes. So
Aw.
that's another thing where Holly and I are like the yin and yang. Um, she prefers to do more travel than I do. I'm not doesn't prefer time home, but she prefers to do more travel than I do, and I prefer to stay home and I don't know, self-educated wasn't really a right word, but do a lot of research and things and trying things. Holly has been very loyal to a specific manufacturer for years, and if they didn't make it, she didn't use it. My philosophy is I want to try everything. So when I come back and say this line of product is the best, that's because I have played around with it. But since I do stay home and use my sanctuary as my workshop or whatever, I do have more time to do that. Where she's got the experiences to go out and talk to the people that have made those products. Um, I said it's just we have similar priorities, but just a little bit different shift, I guess.
Yeah. I'm like you, Mel. I like to try the different things so that I know what I'm working with, but
Mhm.
I'm that nerd. I love talking to the chemist, which, Jim McConnell is, I love picking his brain about products because he's so intelligent on that. But if I have a chance to bend somebody's ear, even in all these tech talks, to like how they got to where they are today, what's different about their product, I thrive on that. So I want to try the different products, but I was exclusive for many, many years in my salon for over 15 years. And I've realized that after I kind of, not that I broke free, but I realized that the girls that were working in my salon were working with different products than what I was. And I encouraged that because, everybody likes something different. But I realized that they were having a little bit more fun with all the newness and that I was exclusive and I felt like it was kind of holding me back a little. But I appreciated the stability that I had. So it's hard to break free a little bit when you know and trust and you know the chemistry, you know the product inside and out. It's hard to break free of that mold, I guess. So it's very nice that to see that, like you said, the yin yang of what you have, because I'm kind of in between both. I feel like a rebel sometimes if I try a different product. Like I'm breaking the rules.
But that's where there too. Holly became much more visible on social media years before I did, and I always kind of thought of myself as like the silent partner. I would try things out and be like, okay, this works, this doesn't. If you want to share this, can I tell about the stamping video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
This is one of my favorite
thing.
Okay, yeah, this is yeah. So in 2013 is when I went to educator training, and it was one of the first times I saw on a well-known person's nails had stamping design on her nails, and I sent a picture to her. I'm like, look, this is really cool. Stamping is cheating. As that's
I
cheating.
said that.
Now I will say that stamping did get its place in the do-it-yourself world in like 2001.
It was at the Iowa State Fair.
Fair enough, but nail professionals eventually got a hold of it and took it to a whole different level. So Holly being so visible on social media, manufacturers would send her products to try, and if she said I like this, people would buy it. Well, she was also making a lot of how-to videos, posting them on her Fingernail Fixer YouTube site, and she decided to shoot some videos at my house one evening, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and keep you company. And she'd never tried stamping before, not once. But she goes, I'm gonna do a how-to video on stamping. I was like, you're gonna do a step-by-step video on a technique you've never tried. Yeah, how hard can it be? I played with it. I'm just gonna sit over here and watch. And I think after 8 retakes, I don't do retakes. Video did not get shot that evening.
Yeah.
She left me with some of the stamping products. I played around with it and said, okay, here you go. These are some definite do's. These are some definite don'ts. Share away.
Oh my goodness.
I've ever tried retaking a video.
Yep. Yep. And it's interesting that for some reason we call it cheating, because for years we would do hand art. But I can tell you, I was an airbrush tech for many years as well. And now airbrush went out and now it's back. And now I think of that as cheating too. And why? This is a skill that it takes to stamp. It's a skill and patience and time that it takes to do that. To me, hand art is easy because that's what I know, but it doesn't mean it's cheating or that it's any less quality or skilled. Because let me tell you, some of these women that are stamping in multicolors and layers on top of airbrush with foil and 3D and all of this stuff, that's a skill. There's no cheating in it. And I say that all the time. I'm like, okay, so we're going to cheat today and I'm going to stamp this flower. But then I always have to add a hand something to it. They call it Amy eyes in it, because I just can't mentally let it only be stamped.
Right.
Just because. Yeah. Silly, but
Not enough.
yeah. So ladies, let's talk. We're almost to our hour here, and so I know that you guys were already live earlier as well as I was, and so this makes a long day for us. But with all of this, what's next? Where do you see the next steps into each of your careers as an individual and together?
Oh wow. Well, I hopefully continue nail on for quite some time.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good, simple contribution to the industry. So I hope we do that together.
I can't imagine us not sharing nail stuff.
Right. I'm not really sure personally. It's kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
I guess I only nails in my future.
Right.
I could see you two writing a book together.
Oh my.
Oh, that could be entertaining.
It would have comedy, it would have facts, it would have maybe some history of our nail industry, of even talking about, Holly, you posted today about Debbie, and what a great inspiration. I was a part of the beauty tech forums and chat rooms from AOL and all of that as well. And so even sharing your story of how you got into it and hoping that we can leave a legacy like that. But I really could see, like, I wish I could follow you around and just take notes of the little things and put that into a book. But I could see you guys coming out with a book together. If not, I encourage you to do it.
BFF.
Yes, and client stories. I love being able to tell or share client stories.
Right.
I've said this.
Be like, oh, I got a good one for you today, or here's a good learning experience, or that's a lot of it is just learning as you go.
Yes, isn't that true? I said there's always a side book I wanted to do, and I can tell you this is how my children were raised. You know how they say, well, hello.
Sorry.
Oh, I love it. And so you know how they say,
toward on there.
that we need a manual of how to raise our children. It takes a community to raise our children. Well, I can tell you it took all of my clients to raise my children. And so what I would do is I'd have a scenario at home pop up and I would ask all my clients for the day, how would you deal with this? Because you get different personalities and they're like, I'd spank their butt, or I'd send them in timeout, or I would talk with them, or I would, whatever. And so I said, I swear to you, through all these years, I could write a manual of how to raise your children. One question, three different people's point of view, just like what we do here. And I think I could write a manual on how to raise children. And so that's always has stuck in the back of my head of something to do. But I think in the nail industry, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, it, it's us sharing that knowledge with each other, whether it's one-on-one, but sometimes people put it in a book and they're very successful. And I could definitely see that with the two of you going to the next level with that. So whatever you choose to do, I'm following you. I will stalk you, as my husband says. And I love being a part of your your enthusiasm and your passion for the industry. You inspire me, as you will inspire so many others. And I can't thank you enough for the time and the dedication that you both have put into this. And I love your vision.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And it'll be reciprocated, believe me.
Yeah. I love it. So not to take up too much more of your time, um, of course, Genesis is on here, and the very last part is I love, love, love it, and absolutely. And so we can end this in true nail on style as you guys end your videos. And so, would you do the honor of our 90? This is our 96th episode of Tech Talk Live, since we named it Tech Talk Live. And so, in true nail on style, would you like to take us out?
Absolutely. Until next time, nail on.
Love it. Thank you guys so very much. Continuous success. Mel, I hope I get to meet you in person someday. Holly, I hope I get to see you again soon. And until then, just keep doing what you're doing because you got it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.